Welcome to Unit 3, Lesson 5, Naming Compounds with Polyatomic Ions. And I just feel almost stupid saying this, but the objective is that students will be able to name compounds containing polyatomic ions. It is that simple. No new vocabulary. So this is a pretty easy lesson. It's going to be pretty quick here. So this, remember, is an ionic compound because remember that these are two ions that are coming together with their charges, okay? Keeping in mind it's ionic, we use the ionic rules. So remember, I'm going to write them down here. The ionic rules were name the full, take the full name of the metal, add the root of the nonmetal, and then add IDE, so like sodium chloride. It's very similar here, except you don't ever change the name of the polyatomic ion. Okay? So first, how did I even know that this contained a how do I train my brain to know and say polyatomic ion is in there? Well, you just ask yourself, how many elements do I see? I have nitrogen, hydrogen, and chlorine. That's 3 elements. If you see more than 2 elements, it has to contain a polyatomic ion. Has to. So there is our polyatomic ion, and the rule is that I just always take its full name. It doesn't matter if it comes first or second, I always write its name. And then I write chloride. So just like I did last time. Okay? Alright, so we're going to try to name this, and really the only trick here is just training your eyes to find the polyatomic ion. Where is the polyatomic ion? How do I actually, let's take a step back, how do I even know that this has a polyatomic ion? I will tell you, because it has 1, 2, 3 elements. If it has more than 2 elements, I know that it has to contain a polyatomic ion. Okay? That is the trick. If you see 3 elements, where's the polyatomic ion? Here it is. It's SO4. Check the back of your periodic table. So I always take the full name of the first metal, and then I just take the name of that on the back of your periodic table. Calcium sulfate. Next example. How many elements do you see? Okay, you should have said 3. There's 3 different elements, N, H, which is in 2 different places, and then O. If you say that, there's a polyatomic ion. Here's the trick, there's actually 2 of them. That's a polyatomic ion, and so is that. You never change their name. So I would call this compound ammonium hydroxide. Just taking the names from the back of the periodic table. Okay, I told you this was going to be a quick lesson, so just make sure that you're able to explain how you can quickly identify whether there is a polyatomic ion in a compound. I found students who actually can't do number 1 have just a really hard time in general, sort of reading almost like the language of chemistry, okay? So hopefully you're saying that you're looking for more than 2 elements. And secondly, you need to be able to properly name compounds containing polyatomic ions. Remember, really the only change here from previous ionic compound name writing is that you just take the whole name of that polyatomic ion.